What you're about to see is not a joke, not a stunt, and definitely not safe. These vehicles didn't just carry too much. They obliterated the laws of physics, danced with death, and sometimes they paid the ultimate price. From motorcycles crammed like clown cars to trucks literally flying off mountains. This is the raw, absolutely insane world of overloading. And here's the gut punch. Vehicle overloading kills over 50,000 people globally every year. That's more than natural disasters and plane crashes combined. Are you ready for this madness? Let's go. Number 11. The bicycle that became a freight train. This wasn't transportation. This was a death wish on wheels. A man in Southeast Asia took a basic pedal bicycle. He turned it into something that would make physics teachers cry. The load towered over his head, bags, bundles, and crates so absolutely massive you could barely see the rider underneath. The front wheel, floating in the air. The back wheel, flattened like a pancake about to explode. But wait, it gets worse. He was carrying 400 pounds on a bike designed for 220. The math doesn't just work, it's physically impossible. The steel frame was literally bending in real time, creating micro-fractures that could snap without warning and turn him into street pizza. He weaved through traffic like a ghost, but traffic wasn't his biggest enemy. Metal fatigue was hunting him down. One wrong turn, one tiny bump, and this entire mountain of cargo becomes shrapnel scattered across 6 lanes of traffic. No gear, no reflectors, no insurance. Just one guy hauling what an actual truck should be carrying because, in his village, renting a truck costs more than he makes in 3 months. Talk about impossible choices. Number 10. The Floating Coffins. You don't board these boats. You fight for a spot like your life depends on it. Because it does. Passenger ferries in India and Bangladesh get loaded until they're practically submarines. People pack the decks, the roofs, and the railings. Some even hang off the sides like human barnacles. The boat sits so dangerously low that waves are literally threatening to pour in with every gentle swell. Life jackets? What life jackets? These ferries carry 300% overcapacity. The Buriganga River alone sees 40 people die every year from overloaded ferries. In one absolutely terrifying case caught on camera, the boat starts tilting before it even leaves the dock. Water is already lapping at the deck edges. And more people keep pushing aboard because missing this ferry means missing work, missing food, missing survival. The captain knows it's overloaded. The passengers know it's overloaded. Everyone knows it's a floating death trap. But nobody stops it because this coffin on the water is the only link between villages and civilization. Every trip is Russian roulette where the house always wins until it doesn't, and entire families vanish beneath water too polluted for proper recovery. Number 9. The Mountain of Feed Disaster. In rural India, a cargo truck became a 25-foot tower of death. This wasn't just overloaded, it was an engineering nightmare on wheels. The load was piled so high it looked like a barn decided to go for a drive. 18 tons on a chassis, rated for 12. That's like asking a Honda Civic to tow a house. As it turned, physics grabbed the wheel. The weight shifted. The center of gravity said, "Nope," and the whole thing collapsed like a house of cards in an earthquake. The truck slammed into the ground with the force of a building collapse. Feed bags exploded everywhere, creating a mountain that blocked traffic for 8 hours. The driver crawled out with 3 broken ribs and a concussion. Lucky to be alive. But here's the insane part. This exact scenario happens 400 times per day across rural India. 400. That's more than one truck tipping over every 4 minutes. Truckers overload because fuel costs have tripled, but freight rates haven't budged. It's economic suicide disguised as survival. Number 8. Tricycle truck death trap. This is where physics goes to die. A 3-wheeled tricycle in China, basically a motorcycle with delusions of grandeur, tried to haul building materials twice its height, tied down with string and plastic rope that wouldn't secure a lawn chair. A 200cc engine trying to move 2,000 pounds of concrete. The axles were already bent from previous suicide missions. Then it hit a bump, barely a pothole, and the front axle snapped like a chicken bone. The load crushed the cabin instantly. The driver jumped off just in time, but 1 second slower, and we'd be watching a fatality instead of a miracle escape. These aren't vehicles. They're metal skeletons held together by hope and duct tape. Chinese police report over 2,000 tricycle overload accidents annually, most involving serious injury or death. Number 7. The timber truck gamble. A logging truck on a Himalayan road came so close to falling off a cliff that gravel was literally slipping under the tires in real time. No guardrails, no warnings, just a driver navigating 40 tons of certain death with a rock wall on one side and a 3,000-foot drop to the afterlife on the other. The truck was carrying twice the legal limit, not because the driver was insane, but because illegal logging pays per ton. Every log over the limit means his kids eat that week. The road was gravel over loose shale, designed for pack animals, not industrial death machines. Every bump was a dance with disaster. Every turn looked like his last. He stopped 3 times to let the brakes cool because overheated brakes on a mountain road equals guaranteed death. Number 6. Human roof cargo in Nepal. Nepalese buses don't stop when they're full. They treat humans like luggage. Entire families climb ladders onto roofs while the bus navigates mountain roads with drops that would obliterate everyone aboard. No rails, no straps, no brain cells, babies, pregnant women, and older people all hanging onto bent metal bars going 40 miles per hour around curves that would scare a NASCAR driver. Bus capacity, 40 passengers. Actual count, 127 people. This isn't bravery. It's desperation with zero alternatives. Missing the bus means kids don't go to school, medicine doesn't reach the sick, and entire villages stay cut off. Nepal's mountain bus accidents kill over 1,500 passengers annually, with roof riders making up 80% of the body count. Number 5. Human Tetris. Indian bus madness. Indian city buses are human torture devices. People squeeze between window bars, hang off footboards, and climb through windows like escape artists in a life-or-death magic trick. Inside, nobody moves. Not because they don't want to, because they can't. Bodies pressed together like sardines in a blender, standing on one leg for hours. No air, no space to breathe without inhaling someone else's panic. Some riders don't even make it inside. They dangle from door frames for 20-mile commutes, their lives depending on upper body strength and prayer. Mumbai's buses carry 4.5 million passengers daily on a system designed for 2.8 million. Emergency rooms treat 50 bus dangle injuries every day for passengers who lose their grip and kiss asphalt at 30 miles per hour. But they keep riding because walking takes 6 hours, and missing work means no food. Number 4. The Sugarcane Wheelie. In India, one overloaded tractor hauling sugarcane took the idea of too much to a dangerous level. The front tires weren't even touching the road. The entire vehicle leaned backward under the weight of towering cane stalks stacked high and far beyond its axle base. The driver tried to move forward, but the front end floated like a seesaw. He had no steering control at all. What's worse, the load wasn't secured. One sharp turn or brake and the entire pile could have toppled onto another car, a pedestrian, or the driver himself. The back tires dug into the ground while the front waved helplessly in the air. This wasn't a one-time fluke. Across rural India, overloaded tractors like this are a regular sight. They're pushed far past their limits to save time and trips. But they don't just risk cargo, they risk lives. Every time one of these things hits the road, it's a coin toss between delivery and disaster. Number 3. The human train wrap. Trains in Kenya aren't just packed, they're completely wrapped in human beings. On top, hanging from sides, squeezed between cars where coupling mechanisms could crush them instantly. Riders gripping railings and ducking electrical wires at 60 miles per hour. If someone loses grip, they fall onto concrete or active tracks where the next train finishes what gravity started. No one stops. Kenya's railway carries 200,000 passengers daily on trains designed for 80,000. People ride illegally because legal tickets cost a day's wages. Railway reports document 400 roof rider deaths annually, deaths that could be prevented if people could afford actual seats. This isn't commuting. It's survival disguised as public transport. Number 2. The drowning deck. A fishing boat loaded with fuel drums, nets, and over 20 crew members tried to leave port already half sunk. Water splashed onto the deck before the engine even started. The boat was carrying 150% capacity in rough seas, waves tossing it like a cork, engine screaming under strain. One more shift, one bigger wave, one engine hiccup. and 20 families would be planning funerals instead of fish sales. They turned back after 30 minutes because it wasn't overloaded. It was a floating disaster. Coast Guard records show 600 fishing vessels sink annually due to overloading. Crew survival rates? Below 30%. This happens every morning in ports across Southeast Asia. Number 1. The taxi escape scene. Police stopped a small taxi in an African city that looked suspicious, low to the ground, crawling slowly, visibly weighed down. When the door opened, people started stepping out. Then more, and then more. What should have been a quick exit turned into a spectacle. Passenger after passenger emerged from the back seat, front seat, and side doors. The count kept rising. The officer was dumbfounded and just staring, trying to figure out how they even fit. It was like watching clowns exit a car, except nobody was laughing. Just stunned silence. Imagine if someone had farted in that packed metal box. The sulfur alone might have taken out half the passengers. It would be funny if it wasn't so tragic. No seatbelts, no space to breathe, zero regard for safety. But it wasn't a prank. It was a necessity. That car wasn't overloaded for laughs. It was overloaded because people had no better way to get where they needed to go. This wasn't comedy. It was pure panic caused by a system that fails millions daily. The driver wasn't a criminal. He was desperate, trying to feed his family by cramming in as many passengers as physically possible. These aren't accidents. They're symptoms of broken systems, of zero regulation. Lives running on pure risk because safe alternatives don't exist or cost more than people earn.